Good evening, and welcome to the annual TAKREEM America Awards Night, the American National Anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our MC tonight, Ricardo Karam.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, dear friends, good evening and welcome to the third annual TAKREEM America Awards Night. It's a great pleasure to be here once again as we meet in Boston, one of the most culturally diverse and one of the oldest cities in the United States, to continue our journey. From Miami on the East Coast to Los Angeles, all the way on the West Coast and back again, we've traveled a great distance together. But our journey hasn't been measured in the miles that we've logged, but in the commitments that we've shown. And one of the commitments that we made 3 years ago was to meet once a year to celebrate the achievements of members of our community here in the United States. And so, here we are today. So many familiar faces, so many new friends. Here we are despite all of the challenges that the world is facing. We've kept our promise to be here at a time when our humanity is being tested. We came to recognize the successes of so many of you. This year I had the honor to be a member of TAKREEM's jury board, and I helped select our laureates. And I can tell you, just like previous years, they have shown us the meaning of excellence, the unity of purpose, the resilience, the undaunted, resourceful, and creative spirit that sets our community apart. As I stand here before you tonight, I'm reminded of the words of the great Khalil Gibran. He immigrated from Beirut to Boston in 1895, He wrote, "Out of suffering have emerged the strongest souls. The most massive characters are seared with scars." All of tonight's laureates understand the meaning of suffering. Their countries of origin, this year, it happens to be Lebanon, Palestine, Iraq, and Algeria, have all gone through their share of suffering. It is these indelible scars that have been left by decades of war and conflict that have made their commitment to their communities here in the United States and further afield across the world all the more important, all the more significant. From science and technology to health and medicine, to the world of the arts and philanthropy, they've used their entrepreneurial and leadership skills to make a significant difference to people's lives. It is that spirit of unwavering optimism, that spirit of hope, of positive change, that TAKREEM America embodies. It is the best of what our laureates represent. A shining light for those whose young lives have been filled with darkness. The children of Gaza and Palestine craving peace, craving justice, an education, an opportunity, a normal life, simply. The young people of Lebanon, of Iraq, of Yemen, Sudan, Syria, and all those young people yearning for a brighter tomorrow. The laureates who are honored here tonight follow the century-old legacy of their ancestors, immigrants, mainly from the Eastern Mediterranean, Lebanon and Syria and other countries as well, who began settling here in Boston back in the 1880s and became part of the Great Migration. They have lived across each and every single one of the 50 United States of America. They have fought its many wars abroad, and they fought against stereotypes here at home. But through it all, they persevered. Not only did they carve a place for themselves, but they succeeded in making this country theirs. They've served in government, in Congress, in local and state legislature. They've contributed to the advancements made in national health, in science, the arts, sports, and every other facet of American life. And they've given back. Before we begin the countdown to our first award this evening, let's go back to where it all began.
Once upon a time, a ship set sail to America. Over seas and oceans, its hull carried stories. This is how our stories disembarked. Souls and suitcases touching docks. With time, these stories grew and more followed. They towered tall as skyscrapers and stretched far as highways. Railways between towns and ships between continents. Sunlight powering cities, human intelligence teaching machines. A combat for dignity, defiance against tyranny.
The objective of all of this is to create spaces where people like all of us can come together from different countries, races, beliefs, genders, and origins, not only to celebrate a change and success, but to learn from those who have achieved them and help those who seek them.
TAKREEM is a breath of fresh air because it gives us hope, motivation, and a positive outlook to the future.
We celebrate the success of Americans from Middle Eastern origin and share their stories with over 1 billion people to help empower and inspire them to believe in themselves.
These are the stories TAKREEM America is telling. Stories of distinguished achievements resounding overseas. Stories that began in the East and set sail to the West. American laureates of Middle Eastern heritage, selected by our jury board for their impact on the world.
TAKREEM America is on a mission to make the world a better place, primarily by enriching the lives of our youth and allowing the youth to inspire us.
To be on the board and be able to listen to everybody's story, I think has really helped me so much as an individual. But there has always been something within me that have found so much interest in that part of my culture to understand more about how I look at things.
And I found great support and success in this country, and I think this story is repeated millions of times throughout America.
These are the stories TAK Minds is sharing. Stories of emerging pioneers grappling with ideas and ideals, shaping the story of a world being rewritten every day.
I mean, the forum has been an amazing thing. The feeling of a community, the feeling of togetherness, of sourcing and culture cannot be but very helpful.
Once upon a time, TAK Minds brought the storytellers together. Once upon a time, TAKREEM America chose to tell the world our stories of goodness and hope despite the darkness. Stories distorted by prejudice and obscured by violence.
I do want to remind all the Arab American kids here in the US to dream big, despite how hard times are. Will eventually come through thanks to organizations like TAKREEM.
They're going to excel, they're going to help the world, and celebrating their success is the ultimate TAKREEM.
It is also in our DNA that we never give in and we never give up.
Tonight, for the third year, we put these stories under the spotlight. As many stories as there are dreams, as many dreams as there are dreamers, crossing oceans to build a better world.
Crossing oceans to build a better world. That is what TAKREEM America's founder has done. As all of you know by now, it takes something special. Indeed, it takes someone special to build and grow an organization like TAKREEM. It takes grit, it takes determination, it takes a rebel with a cause. Someone who does not read from script, someone for whom words like difficult, impossible, simply don't exist. Trust me, I know. And I suspect a lot of you do too. Whether you're here voluntarily or through coercion. Sorry, I meant persuasion. I think you all know what I mean. It also takes someone with boundless energy, with vision and determination. His sense of purpose, empathy, and enthusiasm is infectious. And so, as he continues to cross oceans and boundaries, so do we. As he continues in his pursuit of his next mission possible, we follow. This is why so many of us are here tonight, and why I call it the Ricardo effect. Please welcome TAKREEM America's founder and chair of the board, Ricardo Karam.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, Masar Khair, and welcome to the third TAKREEM America Awards night, where bridges are forged and barriers are dismantled. As we convene in the academic, medical, but youthful city of Boston, I'm filled with an overwhelming sense of joy and purpose. In moments like these, in the middle of life's chaos, we are reminded of the profound strength found in unity and compassion. From the lively streets of Beirut to the heart of America, I stand before you as a humble architect of connections, bridges that link immigrants to their heritage, bridges that traverse cultures and continents,
bridges that bind us all under the common banner of humanity. In a world shadowed by fear and uncertainty, where division often holds sway, it's crucial to reclaim our faith in humanity. Each step we take must reaffirm our dedication to peace, tolerance, dialogue, and empathy. These are not mere ideals, but the very essence of our existence. The mission of our foundation is resolute: to challenge stereotypes, to foster peace and tolerance, and to empower youth. In a time where hateful speech rises and injustice persists, our mission gains urgency. Yet, we do not stand alone. Together, united by shared values and vision, we can confront the trials ahead. We can stand firm against division and hostility, striving towards a future where all are treated with dignity and respect. The TAKREEM Awards night is more than an annual gathering or event. It's a beacon of hope, a platform for dialogue, understanding, and solidarity. This foundation embodies the enduring force of love and compassion, even in the midst of the darkest of times. As we honor our laureates tonight, let their courage and conviction inspire us all. Their actions exemplify the transformative might of compassion and empathy. Let us pledge to join them in combating hatred and prejudices, in championing human rights, justice, and love. In 2023, we celebrated the centennial of Gibran Khalil Gibran, the Prophet, a tribute to the profound contributions Arab Americans have made to the world. Here in Boston, where Gibran once walked, we are reminded of his lasting legacy and of the boundless possibilities when individuals unite for a common cause. So let us seize this moment, this opportunity to build bridges and unite people from across the globe. Let us embrace the spirit of America, the spirit of unity, diversity, and inclusion. For this is the essence of America. And TAKREEM America will continue this legacy for generations to come, reaffirming our commitment to creating a world where kindness and empathy reign supreme. I shall conclude with a quote from Gibran Khalil Gibran. When you love, you should not say, God is in my heart, but rather, I am in the heart of God. May these words resonate with our mission and guide us as we strive to create a better world altogether. Thank you.
Thank you, Ricardo, and how better to create this better world than to engage the youth around us. And it is fitting, therefore, tonight to begin our awards ceremony with our first laureate. It'll be an award that's presented for the Young Entrepreneur of the Year. Here to present the award is Amal Najjar, a TAKREEM America Advisory Board member and Executive Director and founder of the Children of War Foundation, and Razmik Boledian, a TAKREEM America Board of Directors member and co-founder of Rubicon Point Partners. Now, TAKREEM America's first award this evening honors the work of an Iraqi-American author, a poet, a social entrepreneur, whose work mixes creativity with climate action and displacement. At the age of 25, he became one of the youngest senior faculty members in the United States. But it wasn't always an easy road to travel. In fact, in 2006, his home in Baghdad was bombed. He spent over 2 years as a refugee in Syria before resettling here in the US. Here's how his tragedy spoke and what it told him.
To start immediately.
What do you hear?
Use voices.
And who do you hear?
Our voices.
What do you see and who do you see?
I want to see a world where rights to all the environment is recognized.
This is not another representation poem. This is not a gesture. This is not an invitation. This is who we are and where we stand. We're creating new systems of engagement with the creative work and leadership potential of refugee youth around the world by activating their power through fellowships, through partnerships with major institutions like the Metropolitan Museum of Art, Christie's, the UN.
Ahmed, our house was bombed last night.
My father spoke these words to me on July 25th, 2006 in Baghdad, Iraq. A week later, we moved to Syria and applied for refugee status.
If your tragedy spoke, what would it tell you?
I think the most important thing about storytelling is that it's not divisive, but rather it brings people together. It informs whoever is hearing the story, and it empowers who's telling it.
You are going to tell the story of today's immigrants using the belongings of yesterday's immigrants.
The history always traveled with us, regardless if we were physically in the country or not. Young poet attempts to translate the climate crisis. Climate crisis refuses to be translated, and so it goes. Climate change, again, more recently has come to the forefront as something that is really creating a lot of forced migration, and that's something that the world has to deal with. Translation, the process of thorough or dramatic change from one world to another.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Ahmed Badr.
Baba said that stories are like windshield wipers during a storm. They won't get rid of all of the water, but they will make the way clearer. My life changed when I realized that I had a story to tell, the ability to tell it, and an audience to hear it. And I don't say these words in a vacuum. We're living in a time where stories are erased and their human stewards are dehumanized. Stories live and die as their tellers do. They withstand and persist when their stories are dignified, honored, and uplifted. By providing me and my fellow honorees tonight, TAKREEM continues this legacy. By underscoring the importance of our stories and our constant pushback against the erasure. My life's work is dedicated to uplifting and honoring the stories and lived experiences of displaced young people across the world. And it's a key distinction. It's not displacement stories, but rather the stories of those just happen to be displaced. I'll never stop pursuing this mission, and I pray that our stories and our tragedies never become synonymous. Thank you very much.
Congratulations to Ahmed Badr for turning his own story of tragedy into an inspiring tale for others. Some of the youth engagement initiatives that Ahmed Badr actually works on around climate action is bolstered by the work of our next laureate. The award next goes to someone who has made significant progress and carved quite a way forward in environmental development and sustainability. Here to present the award is Sylvia Zahil, a TAKREEM America jury board member and fellow journalist. She's joined by Omar Durra, a TAKREEM America jury board member and an anesthesiologist. Welcome to you both. Now, a few words on our next laureate. He is widely recognized for his contributions to agroecology and conservation biology. His writings on Arab gastronomy, agriculture, spice traditions have been published in over 30 books and in many languages. But that's not all. His art and skill go far beyond the science of natural resource and food. He's put them to good use as a peace mediator. His work with international organizations like Chefs for Peace and Slow Food International promotes dialogue and understanding through food and conservation. Now here's some food for thought.
That changed my life, hearing a guy who was head of a whole international movement say, have fun at protecting the world and restoring it, rather than just working your tail off and not taking time to smell the roses. If we can talk about natural history and our relationship, our cultural relationship, our identity, our values in relation to the environment without ever using the E word, I think that's simply what I'm doing as a natural historian with food. We're really at a critical time in the history of American agriculture, not just because of the loss of seeds, but the loss of the traditional knowledge associated with how to best use those seeds. We make daily choices on whether to hurt or enhance the environment by the way we eat, that we can either deplete biodiversity or help restore it by our food choices every day. Most people in our community understand that wildlife conservation matters because ecotourism and wildlife tourism is a big part of our economy. Our little town of Tucson became the first city of food cultures recognized by the United Nations because we have these incredible threads of Native American, Hispanic, or Mexican cultures and Anglo or Northern European cultures all coming together in this very interesting dynamic way. We need to put aside our divides and find ways to collaborate for the benefit of our communities. It's essential to both our health and the health of the land.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished professor, my friend Gary Nabhan.
All my life I've been planting seeds and trying to find places where those seeds will grow and flourish. And I'm feeling unbounded joy because I am in a room of sowers of seeds, seeds of resilience, seeds of continuity, seeds of graciousness. I feel such graciousness from all of you. And I have to say, seeds of joy. All of you are sowing seeds in your professions, in your ethical and moral commitments to the people most in need in this world. All of you are planning happiness in the world and making this world a better place, and I'm humbled to be with you. I have to say that this journey began for me when I was about 14, when my oldest living uncle, who was born in the Bekaa Valley, came to my house and said, I'm too old to garden anymore, and I have the kusa seeds, or squash seeds, that I brought with me, hidden in the lining of my jacket from Israel so that the inspectors wouldn't find it. And I've been growing it ever since. And these are the seeds I'm giving to you, that you may keep them alive and share them with future generations. This is a sacrament. This is our cultural heritage. This is the future. And it ends up that those seeds are better adapted to the hot, dry world that I call planet desert, the world we're entering now, than most seeds we see in the grocery stores. So they will have another life. My launch of a new project about seeds and plants is starting Monday at Harvard for an Earth Day lecture. When I was 17, I dropped out of high school and ended up working at the first Earth Day headquarters in Washington, D.C. And now, 52 years later, I'm giving an Earth Day talk at Harvard. And it's launching a new initiative bringing science and faith communities together to save the most sacred plants on this planet that have been used by Druze, Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, Native Americans, many of whom are dear friends of mine who taught me how to farm. And the Sacred Plant Biocultural Recovery Initiative will breathe the spirit of the TAKREEM Foundation in everything we do. And I'm just so grateful to all of you, not just Ricardo, for making this feeling of resilience and graciousness and loving spirit live on into the future. And I just wish to plant one more plant in front of you, even though it's a cut rose, as a gesture of what I know you all do with the things most dear in your life. Please keep on planting your seeds, every one of you in your own special way.
Thank you, Dr. Gary Nabhan, and congratulations for winning the award this year for environmental development and sustainability. And thank you for the great gift you give to future generations, planting the seeds of love and peace. Now on to TAKREEM's third award of the evening for scientific and technological achievement. To present the award, please welcome Dr. Waleed Alami, a DC-based cardiologist, and Professor Aida Al-Mutairi, a TAKREEM America Board of Directors member and a previous laureate herself. She's also professor of nanoengineering and pharmaceutical sciences at UC San Diego. Our next laureate is one of the most well-known and celebrated Arab American scientists, radiologists, and biomedical engineers. He served as the 15th director of the National Institutes of Health, the NIH, during the George W. Bush administration. And later on, during the Obama administration, he was one of the very first presidential science envoy tasked with the duty of pushing forward scientific and technological collaboration with and among nations. He's a man of great wisdom, stature, and humility, as I learned when I interviewed him for my program in Washington, D.C. back in the early days of the pandemic. He told me then about the need to create a more efficient, a more equitable international framework to avert another human tragedy on the one that we lived a few years ago. In fact, just recently, the WHO warned that the next pandemic may be in our lifetime. It may, they say, not come for another 100 years or more, but it will come, and the world remains unprepared. But it is thanks to people like him that we know how important it is to keep global health and the equitable access to resources a top priority.
Today, we do not have a global system of pandemic surveillance. We cooperate on the weather to predict hurricanes. We don't cooperate on pandemics, and this is not right.
I had the idea of measuring calcium to differentiate tumors which have low calcium from benign lesions that have high calcium in the lung. I created an application to prevent surgery from being performed.
I would say that institutionally, NIH is one of the 7 wonderful institutions in the world today.
I felt gratitude to America because I was treated well, I was given a chance. And if you've been well treated, you need to give back.
Obesity, diabetes, mental health issues are really self-created. We're creating our own problems by not understanding that no policy should be made without consideration of its impact on health.
To be able to represent the president, the State Department, your country at a scientific level is a unique privilege.
If people are sharing knowledge through science, because science is a universal language, they're more likely to also bring peace. And we need that.
As we understand the biology and the diseases, I hope that we'll be able to prevent them before they strike the patient.
Good afternoon. It's my great honor and privilege to present this year's Scientific Achievement Award to Dr. Professor Elias Zerhouni.
I'm very honored and privileged to be here and really accept this award. And I didn't know actually about the TAKREEM Foundation until this year. I have to really give credit to Ricardo Karam for what he's doing. And the reason I say that is because I'm actually involved in giving prizes in medicine at the Lasker Foundation. The thing I learned about awards is that they indicate the way to the future, because they act like beacon of what's right, what's the right thing to do, what do we recognize, because a culture, a civilization is driven by its psychological beacons and psychological lighthouses. As I came here, I was asking Ricardo, how long do you want me to talk? And he said, no more than 2 minutes. I didn't answer because I don't think there's an Arab in the world who can be put in front of a microphone and speak only for 2 minutes. So I'm going to beg forgiveness instead of asking for permission. But I'll try to be prompt and to tell you I grew up in Algeria. So I grew up in a bicultural environment, Arabic and French education. I grew up there, and until the age of 24, I didn't speak much English. And my wife and I, Nadia, came here to the US for actually a few months. The idea was to learn radiology at Johns Hopkins, and she was a pediatrician, and then go back and contribute to Algeria. Unfortunately, the world is not as linear as you would think. And Algeria went one way, and unfortunately, there was no possibilities for us to return. But I would just want to say a couple things about the journey that is important to all of us here as a community. Arab Americans, as you know, are suffering from a stereotype. And the question is, how do you handle that? How do you respond to it? There is a lot of injustice and oppression against our people, both self-imposed and imposed by others. And I think we have to stand for justice. We have to stand for peace. But it's hard. And the first time I was asked to take a major job at Johns Hopkins, chairman of my department, I said, you know, it's never going to happen. I'm a foreigner. I was born elsewhere. I'm an Arab American. And it won't happen. Until my wife said, no, don't worry. America is fair. And I was shocked that I was actually appointed. So in fact, the fear was in me. The fear was not in the system. So I taught my students, I said, you know, when the prejudice comes, you actually empower the prejudice by believing in it and let it get to you. And that is one lesson I learned. You know, you actually do not have to. And lesson number one is you have to overcome your fear of the prejudice and what it can do to you. It's toxic. The second lesson I learned was we as a community have a tremendous heritage. And it's amazing to me how our heritage is recognized but not narrated effectively. And so we have an imbalance of representation, which I think is why the foundation here plays an enormous role. When I was actually asked by the White House to be the NIH director, I was interviewed and they were interested. And then I asked the interviewer who was working for the president, I said, you know I'm an Arab American? Now, let me tell you, this was after 9/11. Are you sure I'm a... He said, listen, as long as you're a citizen in good standing, we don't care. The president doesn't care. And sure enough, when I was nominated by the president, he told me, he said, you know, Elias, look, you did great things at Johns Hopkins coming from this nowhere university somewhere in Algeria. He couldn't even pronounce the name right. And so he said, but I'll give you a chance because I believe that what you've accomplished is something unique. So he was judging me on my personal performance, nothing else. The only thing he said, look at the Oval Office here. If I have to call you back here after your nomination, that's bad news. Don't come back here. Last but not least, and I am over my 2 minutes and I'm done, the final point, is I always wondered, why is it that we as a community have exceptional, successful individuals, Danny Thomas and Steve Jobs and Ralph Nader. And so let me give you my personal secret. It's because we come from multiple cultures. The Arabic world lived at the intersection of the Mediterranean, the East, the South. So when I grew up with the passion of an Arabo-Mediterranean kid, but then I was educated in French, and that's Cartesian, rigorous, logical thinking. Then I came here, and I learned the pragmatism of the American system. And you know that cross-fertilization is our strength, not a disadvantage. Yes. And so it pushes you to go beyond yourself and contribute to a level that very few people can do if they don't have that multicultural strength that we have and that we celebrate today. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Great to see you. Thank you, Dr. Zarhouni, and congratulations. Thank you very much for those precious 2 minutes that you shared with us, all these incredible tips and pieces of advice for the next generation and those of us who are struggling to make it work, those of us who face the mischaracterizations around us. Thank you. Next, a Lifetime Achievement Award. And here to present it is Dr. Richard Westmark, a TAKREEM America Board of Directors member and founder, executive chairman of Westmark Enterprise. His company, Triple V Management, is one of the key sponsors. Joining him in a few minutes on stage is Nabila Khashoggi, author, businesswoman, and philanthropist. But first, a few words about our next laureate. This is the evening's first award for lifetime achievement, and it goes to someone who has contributed significantly to our understanding of the brain, how it typically works, and sadly, in too many cases, how it stops working. From Alzheimer's to other neurodegenerative diseases that have occupied the minds of so many great scientists, her groundbreaking work has made her and her team one of the top funded researchers in the United States. She leads a large group of about 120 scientists from around 30 academic institutions working under the umbrella of the NIH. She's also an inventor with 60 patents and patent applications. She's a founder of 3 biotechnology companies and a global nonprofit scientific organization. And if you think that's enough, well, she doesn't. She's currently working on a dashboard with millions of data points that can help track the state of our health in real time. Feeling a little brain dead? You're not the only one.
A professor in the departments of psychiatry and medicine at Duke University Medical Center, Dr. Rima Kadura-Daouk's research continues to guide and shape the study of metabolic impairments in neuropsychiatric diseases such as depression, schizophrenia, and Alzheimer's diseases. A graduate from the American University of Beirut's Department of Biochemistry, she underwent subsequent training at Johns Hopkins in Massachusetts, working alongside Nobel laureate Hamilton Smiths, and now holds an adjunct professorship at Mayo Clinic Pharmacology. With over 130 peer-reviewed publications and more than 60 patents, she has been a seminal force in the development of applications for metabolomics, the large-scale study of metabolites in the field. Her research in metabolomics technologies and applications helped create a community of researchers. She has established foundations for a new field in the application for the study of drug effects and made several discoveries on the role of the gut microbiome in neuropsychiatric diseases and treatments. Dr. Rima Kadura-Daouk co-founded the Metabolomics Society, which she presided over for more than 4 years. The society now boasts close to 1,000 members. Besides her research, Dr. Kadura-Daouk helped establish Metabolomics, a leading journal of the field, all while co-founding the biotechnology company Metabolon. Over the years, she established and led multiple consortia to optimize treatment outcomes in depression, as well as treat and prevent Alzheimer's disease. From Beirut all the way to America, Dr. Rima Kadura-Daouk ranked in 2018 as the highest funded researcher in departments of psychiatry nationally, and continues to be among the top funded researchers in the field of psychiatry. Join TAKREEM America tonight in honoring her legacy and life-impacting contributions.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to present the award to Dr. Rima Kadura-Daouk.
Thank you, and thank you, Takreem. Thank you for the board, thank you for the members, and many thanks for Ricardo Karam. Ricardo, you took us through journeys of the minds and the lives of so many interesting people. We've watched you over the years, and we were always dazzled. TAKREEM is a wonderful venture here, and we are honored to be with you tonight and to represent really the work of over 120 scientists, right, and so on. Just few words on my background. How did we get to the United States? عالمنا الواسع My father was a physicist, a brilliant scientist, who wanted to see science in the Middle East as a way of life. He could not practice science, ended up as a banker, put all of his passion in science, in creating for us a telescope to watch the universe. We walked by the Corniche and sat by the Ghalayini, where I learned the laws of science, the laws of Newton, the laws of life, right? And what makes a scientific mind a brilliant mind. He shaped my mind. He also wanted to see a woman empowered, enabled in every way, where every rule was broken. Yes. Not only sitting at the American University of Beirut with many of my colleagues, including my husband, Dr. Ghalib Daou, and sitting there dreaming of coming to the United States. We had nothing. We had no publications. Lebanon was at war. Everything was shattered around us while we were trying to continue our education. We dreamed of coming to the United States and making a contribution to science. I remember I got a ticket as a gift to go from the East Coast to the West Coast, to interview at places with nothing really to speak on the great minds that were shaped by amazing mentors at the American University in Beirut. Every single door opened, truly amazing, with no introduction. Ending my journey at Hopkins, I went, based on a friend of mine encouraged me to go to molecular biology. I knocked at the door of a Nobel Prize laureate, not knowing who the man is. I read about his research, thought he was a great man, knocked at the door, sat with him for half an hour, told him the amazing things we are going to do to transform science and medicine. Little did I have, there was nothing truly to show that indeed we can do anything. He accepted me. The journey opened up in the United States. From there to Harvard, to MIT, that opened a first door for me to explode, to expand the research, not only in academia, but as startups, to innovate, to create. And the biggest thing I learned from MIT and the mentors there was, if there is a tunnel and it's dark, keep moving. The sunshine is really at the end, and you're going to be at the top. Keep moving, don't stop. And if someone stabs you, what has this to do anything in life? Keep moving, you are on a great journey. At Duke, I did learn to make the biggest dive and the biggest jump. And believe it or not, we were dreaming of getting 1 or 2 grants funded. We got 45 grants funded, amazing research. And I thank Dr. Zarhouni. Truly, my journey as I was getting this funding from NIH was truly by transformation that Dr. Zarhouni has put within the system of NIH, right? This has been a wonderful journey with many really that have inspired, opened doors, and put us at the top. Above all, I want to acknowledge my husband, Dr. Ghalib Daou, who is at Children's Hospital, a pediatric nephrologist. Ghalib has not only been a husband, he has been a friend, a partner, an enabler, someone who put me ahead every single step of the way. And my 2 children, Hassana and Hassan Omar Daou, who paid the dues as I was doing what I was doing, enabled, supported. My love and my gratitude to all of them. And please, keep the optimism, right? In visiting Jordan for its one of the scientific annual meetings, it shook me profoundly. After I presented my science, that students came to me and they said, you give us a chance to dream to make something important in science. My heart goes to every scientist back home. I hope we can build the bridges and show that we can do something that can benefit humanity, right, and pay back. I thank you.
Never thought I'd feel this way. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm glad I got the chance to say that I do believe I love you. And if I should ever go away, well then close your eyes and try to feel the way we do today. And then if you can, remember, keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, that's what friends are for good times and bad times. I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for. Well, you came and opened me, and now there's so much more I see. And so, by the way, I thank you, oh, and then for the times when we're apart. Well, then close your eyes and know these words are coming from my heart. And then if you can, remember, keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, that's what friends are for. In good times and bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for. Keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, that's what friends are for. For good times and bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for. Keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, that's what friends are for. For good times and bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for.
Thank you very much indeed to Randa Rousseau, a Canadian jazz singer of Lebanese origin, who's been featured in the book Who's Who in the World of Jazz.
وأنت تعد فطورك فكر بغيرك لا تنسى قوت الحمام.
As you prepare your breakfast, think of others. Do not forget the pigeon's food.
Quand tu prépares ton petit déjeuner, pense aux autres. N'oublie pas le grain aux colombes.
وأنت تخوض حروبك فكر بغيرك لا تنسى من يطلبون السلام.
As you wage your wars, think of others. Do not forget those who seek peace.
Quand tu mènes tes guerres, pense aux autres. N'oublie pas ceux qui réclament la paix.
وأنت تسدد فاتورة الماء فكر بغيرك من يرضعون الغمام.
As you pay your water bill, think of others, those who are nursed by the clouds.
Quand tu règles la facture d'eau, pense aux autres qui têtent les nuages.
وأنت تعود إلى البيت بيتك فكر بغيرك لا تنسى شعب الخيام.
As you return home, to your home, think of others. Do not forget the people of the camps.
Quand tu rentres à la maison, ta maison, pense aux autres. N'oublie pas le peuple, tes tentes.
وأنت تنام وتحصي الكواكب فكر بغيرك ثمة من لم يجد حيزاً للمنام.
As you sleep and count the stars, think of others, those who have nowhere to sleep.
Quand tu comptes les étoiles pour dormir, pense aux autres. N'oublie pas le peuple des tentes.
وأنت تحرر نفسك بالاستعارات فكر بغيرك من فقدوا حقهم في الكلام.
As you express yourself in metaphor, think of others, those who have lost the right to speak.
Quand tu te libères par la métonymie, pense aux autres qui ont perdu le droit à la parole.
وأنت تفكر بالآخرين البعيدين فكر بنفسك قل ليتني شمعة في ظلام.
As you think of others far away, think of yourself. Say, if only I were a candle in the dark.
Quand tu penses aux autres lointains, pense à toi. Dis-toi, que ne suis-je une bougie dans le noir? Mahmoud Darwish.
Thank you to Andrea, thank you Selma, thank you Ricardo. A beautiful poem written by one of the most celebrated and beloved poets of the Arab world, Mahmoud Darwish, read by some of the most celebrated and beloved members of our family, of TAKREEM America family, Ricardo, Selma, Andrea. Thank you very much indeed. And joined by Art Hirara, a New York-based jazz keyboardist and composer. As Mahmoud Darwish urges us to think of others, his words of wisdom and gratitude still resonate. Do not forget those who seek peace, he said, those who have nowhere to sleep, those who have lost the right to speak. Let us remember those words as we search for more tolerance, more understanding, more justice and more healing, and as we try to overcome the divisions and all the adversity that we face in the world around us. Up next is the Award for Cultural Excellence. Here to present it is Simon Shaheen, the renowned oudist and violin player and composer. He's also professor of music at the Berklee College of Music here in Boston and one of the most significant Arab musicians of his generation. And Rana Salam, a designer and art director whose inspiring artwork has been inspired by the popular culture of the Middle East. So then, who is this year's Cultural Excellence Award going to? She's written a memoir entitled Looking for Palestine, Growing Up Confused in an Arab-American Family. Well, when you find out who her father is, you'll wonder how that is even possible. But whether she's performing on stage or not, she is the quintessential activist, cultural activist, with a powerful voice. From collaborating with renowned Hollywood icons like Vanessa Redgrave to going solo off-Broadway, she has filled her repertoire with captivating and enduring performances. If her show Palestine was sold out many years ago, imagine what it would be like now. As she continues to look for Palestine, so do her legions of new fans.
No, Sally. I think you found your niche.
أول حجر بسيب روحي بصير حرة.
The
moment when I found myself with the people in the streets and the squares. Oh, you can't imagine the warmth and the love and the kindness.
For me, it's very important to give voice to these people and these characters.
For the people of Gaza, I realize his ideas, without even being cited, they've just penetrated to everyone's consciousness who understands this struggle that is the matter of colonialism, imperialism, military occupation. I'm not a political person. This is who I am and this is what I can say, and this is how I deal with being a Palestinian in America.
So, here it is, the promised land, which is nothing to me but a horrifically frightening place.
When I actually saw Palestine and felt my own heart break because I was 18 years old, I sort of had a breakdown. I had an eating disorder at the time. I was anorexic.
My intense need to feel the pain of these people. It is not okay.
Most of my work is about exploring the difficulty in living between the East and the West, yet at the same time identify as a girl who grew up amongst Jews on the Upper West Side of Manhattan.
Orientalism.
I feel like we have a very specific energy, and that is through art, and it's incredibly inspiring because I think the whole world is tired of violence and anger and misrepresentation.
I just want to say very informally that the serendipity of me being a daughter of a Palestinian mother, handing over this award to a daughter of a Palestinian father, Edward Said, who my mother and Edward Said met in Harvard in the 1950s, and for me to be giving the award to his daughter is just wonderful.
Thank you so much. This is very overwhelming, so I'll definitely be under 2 minutes. It is very strange to people to realize that as a little girl, I didn't know where I was from. I used to pretend I didn't know where my mother was from, even though I had spent every summer in Beirut. I knew my father was Palestinian, but I'd never been to Palestine, so I thought that Palestinian meant like you were a vegetarian or something, I don't know. So, but when I was 8 years old, my parents realized that I was not only very shy and quiet, but was very creative. So they sent me to theater class. And in theater class, the teacher put me on stage and I suddenly came alive and was no longer shy. I think there was something about the stage and playing different parts that made me understand that you could contain multiple identities and still be one intact human being. Thank you. But of course, as I grew up, I decided I wanted to be an actress without knowing how moronic it was and how difficult it was going to be for an Arab American to become an actress. When I first started, it was pre-9/11, and I just thought I would end up playing white people. But that's not how Hollywood works, as many of you probably know by now. What I realized was that if I didn't change my name, I would be constantly cast as an Arab. When 9/11 happened, I was 3 years out of acting school, and for the first time in my life, I found other Arab Americans who I made friends with because of our shared interest and not because our parents were friends or they were my cousins. We started an Arab American theater company and interviewed people about what came to mind when they heard the word Arab. All of the Arabs said love, family, food, home, joy, jasmine, all these wonderful things, and all of the Americans said desert, camels, terrorists, etc. But I'd like to think that in some small way, our play helped contribute to the growing understanding of what it means to be an Arab. And in the years since, I have gone on to write a book and a play asserting my identity. So many young women have come up to me and thanked me for telling their story. There is a universality to most of our stories, and it doesn't matter if you're a Palestinian, Lebanese, American, Anglican, Quaker, Baptist, Presbyterian, I don't know. So I just wanted to say thank you, and also very much in the spirit, and thank you to my parents. Not only was my father a tremendous human being, as you all know, who I miss very much, particularly right now, but it was my mother, Mariam Saeed, who's here tonight, who's from Beirut, who is as Lebanese as anyone could be. My mother is often forgotten, but if there was anyone in our family who made our home an Arab home, it was her, and I owe her everything for that. So thank you, Mommy, and thank you very much for this award. And remember that authenticity is the key to everything. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations to Najla Saeed, and I hope you put in a word for us when we try to get tickets to your sold-out shows. I hope you will. All right. Congratulations, Najla Saeed, for an incredible career so far. Now, our next award is for corporate leadership, and here to present it is Joe Jaja, entrepreneur and philanthropist, and Nadine Shekhar, a member of the TAKREEM America Board of Directors and a previous laureate herself. She's also the global head of DTCC Digital Assets. Now, you might wonder who he is. TAKREEM America's next laureate has come a very long way. In fact, he started his journey to the United States and to international acclaim on a fruit farm, on some fruit farm in a very small village somewhere in Lebanon. Blessed with a sharp mind and a very keen eye for marketing, he set up several marketing standards and applications, and he's done it with innovation and foresight. His work has advanced our understanding of consumer behavior and market trends. He's blended science with the spirit of entrepreneurship. He's a distinguished academic and a visionary in corporate leadership. He has been inducted into the Entrepreneurship Hall of Fame and was honored as a technology pioneer by the World Economic Forum. And here's how he did it.
The nature of the internet is that it moves so fast that there are always new things that represent opportunities.
We have branched out net of analytics tools to help a variety of companies maximize their impact online. Fundamentally, we are about taking a group of people that have opted into sharing the information with us and do a lot of analysis on who they are and what their behavior is. Well, I think the biggest value we can deliver to entrepreneurs is that as they start gaining traction in their market, the information that Comscore provide will help them monetize their audience or their assets better. What clients are asking from us in terms of intelligence is intelligence that would lead to help the industry monetize better or help the marketer extract the maximum benefit out of the consumer through mobile media or digital media.
If you are innovative and you are fast afoot, you're going to basically occupy that hill before they even figured out that that opportunity is there. If you look at the modern history of Lebanon, there are probably 3 or 4 times more Lebanese outside Lebanon than inside. In essence, even at the beginning, the Phoenicians were entrepreneurs, the thirst for discovery, for knowledge, and for taking risks.
want to congratulate Dr. Majid Abraham for the Corporate Leadership Award.
It is very inspiring to be in the company of such accomplished achievers, and I feel humbled to be mentioned in the same company. When Isaac Newton published probably the most important book in science, he said, "I'm reminded that I stand on the shoulders of giants." As I receive this honor today, that humility reminds me of the roots that helped me grow and get here. I'm grateful to my parents who helped seed me and nurture me into the world, to the teachers, mentors, leaders, and educators who grew my appetite for knowledge, and for the good fortune I've had along the way. And let's face it, everybody needs some good luck to be successful. I'm also grateful to Lebanon, to that relentless spirit of adventure that motivated the Phoenician sailors to leave its shores and leap into the unknown. Success is the ability, combined with opportunity, transformed into an accomplishment of value. I'm grateful for America, the land of opportunity and meritocracy that welcomes countless immigrants like me and like us into its arms and help us compete on a world stage. So, thank you, TAKREEM America, for this honor. Our region's deserts have always abounded with talent, but now they're also blooming with opportunity and with knowledge. You are paving the way for future pioneers who embody the heritage of our native land and can be successful there and on a world stage. I hope a significant highlight on the journey of these achievers will be that I was a TAKREEM honoree.
Thank you, and congratulations to Dr. Majid Abraham, a pioneer and a true Phoenician, a deserving winner this evening. Next up, TAKREEM's second Lifetime Achievement Award. Here to present it, Nadia Mukarzel. She is a philanthropist and a patron of TAKREEM America. And Dr. Samuel Melki, award-winning ophthalmologist. Now, our next laureate's work has been, quite literally, you might say, eye-opening. He's helped countless people, not just here in the United States, but across the world, gain a clearer vision through his pioneering work in advanced optics and microelectronic therapeutics for the eye. He's done it with over 75 patents in ophthalmic pharmacology and bioengineering, and, as you'd expect, with much vision, helping many see and decide where they want to go in life, which reminds me of what someone once said, quote, that the whole point of seeing through something is to see something through it.
A distinguished ophthalmologist, an internationally recognized surgeon, a professor, a leader, and the former Dean of the College of Medicine at the University of Illinois.
My biggest pride was that we changed the medical school's strategy to work outside the physician's comfort zone.
We have notable strength in the development of transcendent technologies. We work on the development of new therapies without losing focus about what is most important, which is taking care of patients who need our help.
Dr. Dimitri Azar's ambitious vision, his academic rigor, and business acumen all converged to form the unique 2020, a confluence of medicine, ophthalmology, and engineering that creates and commercializes devices dedicated to eye care and technology-enabled therapies. His work at Google and 2020 Therapeutics has led to the development of the first smart electronic lens.
I work primarily with hundreds of brilliant engineers to create digitally enabled solutions for medical and ophthalmological conditions.
You can imagine now in the eye, but also outside the eye, having many sensors that the patients want so that they can predict diseases.
Besides the 400 scientific articles and book chapters to his name, Dr. Dimitri Azar's contributions to the pathogenesis and treatment of corneal diseases, as well as refractive surgery, meant real life-changing impact for his patients everywhere. After receiving his MD from the American University of Beirut and his executive MBA from University of Chicago Booth Business School, he completed his residency and fellowship at the Massachusetts Eye and Ear Infirmary at Harvard Medical School, where he also became professor of ophthalmology, before joining the University of Illinois as head of the ophthalmology department.
I have strong roots. I owe my success I have achieved outside Lebanon and in the United States to the strong foundation that I got.
From Beirut to Chicago, Dr. Dimitri Azar is one of the best doctors in America today. A testament of success and distinguished achievement, TAKREEM America is proud to honor his journey and its impact on thousands of people around the world.
I was asked to say a couple of words about Dr. Azar because I have trained with him about 20 years ago, and I feel that I'm here to represent all the people that he trained. Because from all the achievements that you've seen, probably him as an educator and him as a mentor is one of his biggest achievements. Dimitri would always look at education as a way to perfection. And just as a simple anecdote, he would be teaching you how to stitch a cornea with very tiny stitches, and he would be looking over your shoulders and you're trying to impress him. And at some point, he'd just look at you and say, "That's good." And you'd feel this compliment filling your heart with pride, only for him to say, on a scale of good, very good, and excellent. So Dimitri, what you have achieved is really amazing on a scale of amazing, amazing, and just amazing.
Thank you so much, Gida, Samir, Nadia. I am really honored and humbled to join the other really outstanding awardees. Congratulations, Mr. Ricardo Karam and the TAKREEM family on bringing everyone together here. And congratulations on really a stellar institution of love, of bringing people together, and recognition of laureates who represent excellence worldwide. I accept this recognition on behalf of all the people who helped me and supported me throughout my life, starting with my parents, my siblings, extended family, old friends in Lebanon, my classmates and mentors at the American University of Beirut. AUB is such a special place, and I see so many familiar faces here who graduated or went to AUB. So we need to acknowledge all these excellent people who are here from the American University of Beirut. They have helped me tremendously during the first part of my life. They were instrumental in giving me the wings to allow me to cross the oceans that you described earlier. Our many friends who came from Lebanon and established themselves in Boston, Baltimore, Washington, and Chicago, where our family has had a small journey, many of whom are here. My mentors and trainees, as Samir said, at Mass Eye and Ear Infirmary, at Hopkins, at Illinois, including several Cornell fellows, fellow mentees, from whom I learned a lot and became a better person, not just good. My colleagues and friends at the University of Illinois College of Medicine, the other deans with whom I worked closely, and as you heard at Verily and at Novartis, they helped me on my lifetime journey on capturing that convergence of engineering, AI, microelectronics, and medicine. I would like, today I have relatives who came all the way to Boston to join me in this evening. I'm humbled that they made the trip. I'd like to recognize my brother, Sammy, his wife, Muna. Many of you know them. My uncle, Wally, and his wife, Mary, and my brother-in-law, Amin. And last but not least, my wife, Dr. Natalie Azar. She's taking a video, who is the love of my life. She's a distinguished pediatric ophthalmologist. She was the head of the department, first at Harvard and then at Illinois, and who is here with our 3 grown-up children. I still call them children, Lara, Nicholas, and Alexander. Natalie and I are very proud of them. They speak very good Arabic. They say tabouli, kibi, telephone, bonjour, bonsoir. But I tell them that I'm the luckiest person, because if someone lines up all the children of the world and asks me to make a choice, they would be the only ones I would choose. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dimitri Azar, and congratulations once more. I did bump into Dr. Azar earlier and tried to sneak in a very quick, sort of a free consultation. Thank you, you were kind enough to humor me. I will make an appointment, I promise. I'll make a formal appointment, all right. Now, as we near the climax of this awards night, our next and final laureate is the perfect embodiment of TAKREEM America and what it strives to achieve. In fact, it is a perfect reminder of why TAKREEM America exists. The Special Distinction Award goes to a philanthropic organization whose ethos is built on the legacy and vision of its founder, to elevate and to empower as many people in need, as many marginalized communities as possible. The foundation has impacted countless lives. I know you hear me say this quite often, but it has. Countless lives, not just here in the United States, but across other parts of the world, by helping to create a more promising future for so many, from Haiti to Lebanon. It has contributed to healthcare, education, environmental conservation, disaster relief, and recovery, and so much more. Its humanitarian mission can be summarized in just a few words: building opportunity and resilience.
In the heart of Miami beats a legacy of Lebanese-American compassion and impact, the Anthony Abraham Foundation, reaching far and wide to create meaningful change by supporting institutions like schools, universities, and associations. The foundation strives to foster inclusivity and empowerment to those suffering. In the healthcare sector, the foundation has made significant contributions to pediatric healthcare by supporting institutions such as St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, known for their groundbreaking work in treating catastrophic childhood diseases. Their commitment to education shines through support for institutions spanning from elementary to higher education levels. By contributing to prestigious universities like the University of Miami, Yale University, and Cornell University, the Foundation strives to enhance educational opportunities for the youth and foster research and innovation. Beyond healthcare and education, Thomas Abraham, the chairman of the Anthony Abraham Foundation, took an innovative step into sports philanthropy as the first sport ambassador for blind soccer, highlighting the Foundation's commitment to inclusivity and empowerment through sports. To create a sustainable future, the Anthony Abraham Foundation aims at conserving and restoring a vital ecosystem through its alliance with the Everglades Foundation. The Foundation's impact isn't limited to Miami. Closer to home, they have strong partnerships with the Lebanese American University, the Red Cross, various organizations focusing on advancing healthcare, education, disaster relief, and social development in Lebanon. And in 2020, when horror struck and Lebanon was filled with sorrow, economic crisis and death, the Foundation swiftly stood by Lebanese communities, providing NGOs with the support needed to help Beirut rise from the ashes. Under the leadership of Chairman Thomas Abraham, the Foundation believes that every act of kindness sparks a brighter future, so we can build a world of opportunity and resilience for vulnerable populations.
Here to present the award, please welcome Dr. Joseph Jabra. He is the former longtime president of the Lebanese American University and a leading academic figure here in the United States, and Diana Elmas, a member of the TAKREEM America Board of Directors and an entrepreneur.
If I may, looking at you and seeing the passion, the enthusiasm, the commitment, and with a foundation that we call with pride TAKREEM, and with its vision, daring vision of its founder, my heart fills with joy. Anthony Abraham and his wife Genevieve, they gave with generosity to health foundations, to hospitals, to schools, to all those who were in need. I am honored to introduce the chairman of Anthony Abraham Foundation, someone the mention of his name evokes, speaks volume about who he is and what he stands for. Tommy Abraham was born in Beirut, was adopted by Anthony and Genevieve Abraham. He came to the United States. He grew up in the bosom of a loving family, and at the same time, he was trained by his dad. We together salute the chairman of the Anthony Abraham Foundation, and we recognize in him a person who is really consumed with philanthropism, a humble servant of those who are in need. Tom, we salute you, and we recognize all your contributions. We thank you, and we urge you to continue to do it. Thank you very, very much.
Well, I think that Dr. Jabra was talking about my twin brother, because I don't know where he came up with all that stuff, but he must have been reading some old documents about somebody else. But in all seriousness, I'd like to go over something that I really had a lot of thought about, that I wanted to make an impact tonight, one that would speak volumes about what you have given back to our country, our beloved Lebanon. And you know, as I'm wearing a black coat that seems to have put a black cloud over our beloved Lebanon, it has sheltered us from really speaking out about the things that we want to do, how we want to help our country, and also how we want to make sure that we do not erase our history, our past, or erase the fact that we need a future to continue to call ourselves Lebanese. I dedicate this acceptance speech tonight to the over 241 plus lives that lost their lives on August 4th, 2020. I am wearing the images of those individuals tonight as a solemn pledge to ensure that their sacrifice are forever memorialized. On behalf of the Anthony R. Abraham Foundation and my family, I have my two sons, my cousin Kathy, my son Anthony and Sean are here tonight. Joe Jabra, thank you so much for flying in. My friend George is here. We have a lot of friends here that have come tonight to pay respect for all the work that's being done. I want to say to our esteemed guests that are here tonight, as I stand before you, I wish to emphasize the paramount importance of preserving our individual identities, our heritage, our collective history, and these elements form the moral fiber, the backbone of our nation, defining who we are as a people. It is with utmost sincerity that I accept this award tonight on behalf of the Anthony R. Abraham Foundation. Truly, our mission is very simple: to love, to honor, to respect, and to empower those who are suffering, who feel hopeless, who have truly been forgotten. Through empowerment, we believe we can shape and change the world for the better. As a serene tribute to reliance and peace, the Beirut Memorial Park and Museum is envisioned as a tribute to the victims and survivors of the August 4th explosion. By embracing the stark reality of that day and enshrining the solemn silhouettes of the silos within its heart, this sanctuary promises peace and remembrance for generations, transforming our collective scars into symbols of unity and hope for Lebanon. Tonight, I extend an urgent call to all of us to act for Lebanon, the Lebanese both at home and across the diaspora. It is time to rise above sectarian and external influences in our country. It is time to redefine our future based on what benefits us all, not the chosen few who decide what we want and what we're going to get in our country. Thank you so much.
Thank you and congratulations to Thomas Abraham. If I could ask you to please stay on stage as I invite all of tonight's laureates to join Thomas Abraham for a final group photo. If I could ask Ricardo Karam to come on stage as well. Let me thank the organizers, TAKREEM America, for hosting us once again and for bringing us all together from different parts of the United States and indeed different parts of the world. Our warm congratulations to each and every one of our distinguished laureate this evening. Thank you once again to all our laureates this evening. A very richly deserved congratulations to you all. Thank you, everyone. Before we close This evening's award night, let us remember the great power that each and every one of us has to make this world a better place, not just for ourselves, but for future generations. Let us put all of our energy together to shine that bright light, to be that beacon of hope for every child living in fear and in darkness tonight. Let us all be that candle in the dark. Please hold up your phones, switch on your flashlights, and wave them up in the air to shine a bright light onto the path of every child who looks to us for inspiration. Wishing you all peace and prosperity until we meet again. Together, let's heal the world.
There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love. And this place could be much brighter than tomorrow. And if you really try, you'll find there's no need to cry. In this place, you'll feel there's no hurt or sorrow. There are ways to get there if you care enough for the living. Make a little space, make a better place. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me. We could fly so high that our spirits never die. In my heart, I feel you are all my brothers. Greater word, but with no fear. Together we'll cry happy tears. See the nations, then this world in oceans. We could really get there if you get enough for the living. Make a little space to make a better place. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me. Heal the world we live in, save it for our children. Heal the world we live in, save it for our children.